What's up, guys? My name is Kenzie, and welcome back to the What Am I Even Doing podcast. Today we've got something a little bit different for you. I'm in the park. I don't know, I thought maybe it'd be kind of fun to do something a little bit different. So here we are. Hopefully the audio is okay. I'm not sure. We're gonna see, and hopefully this audio is not super bad because I'm not I'm not willing to test it right now. I'm fully out of my comfort zone, but in a way that I'm totally okay with. You know what I mean? So here we are in the park in my hometown. I tried to find the quietest park that wasn't like too much of a trek into the woods, which maybe that would have been a good idea. I don't know. I'm like trying to decide if that would have been a better idea or not. But here we are. So I'm thinking we'll get a couple of these a month, especially in the summertime, because it's such an easy thing to set up. So yeah, um, here we go. We're gonna start off with our super cool beverage. Um, it's water again. ASMR, I guess, if you like are into that or something. I am, so no judgment. I love ASMR in like so many ways. It's one, I don't know. Anyways, that's a whole different topic. Um, so weekly recap. I guess 2 week recap as of right now, right? So, as you guys know, I got into a car accident, and that was some boring news. I mean, it was not boring. It was like my life, right? And it was far from boring and super stressful and continues to be so. We're going to do this because I'm worried about the wind. It's picking up just slightly right now. So I'm sorry if you can hear it. I'm sorry if you can hear the children yelling at the park, but I figured that kind of is a little bit of the charm of filming outside. Like you can't control the elements or the people around you or what in the hell they say. So there's that. Um, anyway, so car situation, right? Yeah, so I finally got a rental car. And actually, today is my last day with the rental car. I've had it for, I don't know, about a week ish, maybe a little less than that, honestly. And that's been fine. But the other day, I got a call that my car was going to be picked up. And like a little bit of a backstory, I thought I saw the quote for it to get fixed. And it was like a good amount of money, but not more than what my car was worth. So I was like, oh, yeah, like cool. They're going to fix it. I'm going to get my car back. It's going to be great. Wonderful time. Love it. Well, then I checked again and it was well above what my car was worth. So anyways, they're totaling it and I have to give the rental car back today. I have a cosigner on my title. This is for anybody who's younger than me that's listening to this. Don't do that with a significant other unless you are married and you're very, very secure. And even then, maybe don't do it. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. She's my ex, and I had to get her off, but she lives in like New Mexico, and I fully don't even speak to her anymore. So getting a hold of her was literally an all-day experience. The wind is picking up again. It was literally an all-day experience, and I was so stressed because they're like, oh, you've got 3 days to figure this out, but she has to sign all this paperwork so we can release the title. Anyways, it was like a huge thing. So I'm not gonna have a car for, I don't know, like a week or something. I'm hoping it's not gonna take that long. I'm hoping I'll have a car by like Saturday latest, but like so many banks are closed on Saturday, and I should be getting direct deposited the money for my car once this whole title mess is figured out. And that's like the last step that we have to do. I'm waiting on my paperwork. Should be here today. Hers should be to her tomorrow. And yeah, so we're just playing the waiting game. I've checked the status on everything, and there's nothing that I can do to move it faster. So that sucks, but I'm really lucky to have an amazing person in my life that also happens to be my ex. But anyways, she's letting me use her car for the weekend because I have to dog sit at my mom's house, and that's 30 minutes away from where I live, and I have to work. So things are a little bit wacko right now. But we'll figure it out, and then when I get a new car, it's going to be really awesome, and I'm excited. Except for the fact that I just paid my car off, and now I'm going to have a car payment again, so, like, fuck my life, I guess. I don't know. 2024. This is it. But 2024 brought me this podcast, so I'm grateful for it. I'm trying to find the light at the end of the tunnel. There's lots of lights at the end of all of the tunnels that I've gone down recently. I have had a couple of hard days, and I've cried a lot this last couple of weeks. So I'm feeling like exhausted, but also refreshed. You know what I mean? Which is like cool that I have the ability to like feel emotions as a human being. When we decide, and I've been this person, right? When we decide to just like fully forget that we're human beings capable of feeling these emotions and like going through these things and living this like super unique human experience, and instead we try and act like we're a rock or something. Mind you, I love rocks and I think they're healing, but like a rock lives like a way easier life than a human, you know? At least from my human perspective. But anyways, I feel like you're like a rock and you aren't experiencing these emotions, and you try and just like cut yourself off from the human experience. And then one day you realize, bitch, you're a human. Feel. Let it happen. So that's where I'm at. I'm feeling, and it's crazy. And the wind is picking up again. I'm really nervous about the wind thing. It's not even very bad, but I just know that it could be audio wise, especially with this mic. So, anyways, so I've had a couple of hard days, and I've felt through it, and I've gotten through it, and there's more hard days to come. I'm positive, but right now, chilling, you know. But I think with every passing day, you get more and more prepared for the next one. And even if you feel unprepared for the next one, you are prepared because you just simply have too much knowledge to not be anymore. That's something that a friend has been telling me a lot lately. Like, you have too much knowledge to be like, to like go down a path without it being a choice. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, you make the conscious decision to go down an unhealthy path in your life if you already know how to cope and how to move through those things. Yeah. So, I've been thinking about that lately with these hard days, because I've been wanting to like, fall back into like these negative behaviors, thinking like, oh, that's going to help me get through these things. Absolutely, right? No, it's just going to make it worse. It's just going to make it worse, and I have the knowledge to know that it's just going to make it worse. So I'm not doing those things. I'm feeling my feelings. And you guys should all feel your feelings with me and with other people, and also with yourself. Growing together. What did I say in the very beginning, that very first episode? Oh my gosh. Now I'm going to have to look it up, but truly I have no Wi-Fi out here in the park, so I can't really do that. It's like growing, living and learning, or loving and learning and loving, growing, loving and learning. No, growing, I can't even, growing, learning and loving, or all learning, growing and loving. I don't know what it was. Somebody tell me what it was, because I'm going to forget that this is in here, and I'm going to need someone to tell me I'm gonna need someone to tell me what I said. It's in the description of the podcast, so someone let me know. Um, Anyways, so despite those hard days, I've come to find inspiration and comfort in the weather changing. And I don't mean comfort physically because my eyes are watering, my nose is stuffy, and my throat is scratchy, and allergies are here, my guy. But the sun is also here, and that brings me comfort and warmth physically, but also emotionally, mentally, all the things. Vitamin D is my friend. I take a vitamin D supplement when I remember. I go through these phases where I'm really good about remembering those things, and then I forget for like a month and a half. Or I don't forget, I just like look at them. I'm like, later. And then later never happens, you know? So I guess I do forget. But I make the decision. I have too much knowledge. Anyways, moving on from the knowledge subject, right? We can talk about that on a later episode. It's kind of an interesting thing to think about introspectively. So the weather's changing, and I was falling into this like creative slump with the podcast, with my vlogs, with my life. And I'm usually a very creative person. Like, I'm just crafty in general. And so I think I'm just falling into a routine. And I thrive in routine simply because I'm a Capricorn and black and white is my thing. But I also find that routine is, sorry, there's so many people right now all of a sudden. Like, literally all of a sudden. Anyways, routine can be detrimental sometimes. If you just let yourself mindlessly be. So I've been trying to be more mindful and like referring back to my previous episode, romanticizing my life. So I've been trying to really refer back to my own advice lately. But I've been finding inspiration in that the weather is warmer and I can get outside and feel the sun on my skin and film beautiful moments of flowers and the wind in the trees and like romantic B-roll of the life blooming around me. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's been helping a lot with this creative slump, I think. I did name this podcast My Plants Are Dying. Don't get me wrong, they were dying. They definitely were dying. But I watered them and they're not dying anymore. And I've taken off all of that dead, crusty leaf, given it some new life. We've had conversations. We've listened to some music together. Am I the only one that does this? Listening to music with your plants is like, I think there's actually science behind this. Now, I don't know the science behind all of it. Now, like, okay, let's get into the thick of the topic for today. We're talking about plants and emotions, if you haven't noticed. So yeah, my plants were dying. They're not so much anymore. Let's talk about why I think that is. We were just talking about music. So music is like a weird thing for like think about music and your growth as a human being, right? Listening to music as a human being is so, at least for me, maybe not for you, maybe you're not a musical person, I don't know. Music holds such a crazy like growth aspect to it and also taps so far into emotions. Like when I would just started going through my breakup back in January. I say back in January, like it wasn't just only 2 months ago, but it feels like it was a lot longer because time is just like slow and fast at the same time. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Anyways, but going back to January when I very first started going through this breakup, I fully could not even listen to music because I could find some way to relate to it. And then that meant emotions, and then that meant crying, and that meant literally breaking down. Breaking down, like so dramatic. But I just couldn't, like, it was like physically painful because I would hyperventilate. And so I just decided this is not my healing journey right now. and I decided to not listen to music for a moment. But when I recently have started to pick it back up again, I'm like, oh, let me go back to my oldies, you know? And I'm thinking oldies like Fleetwood Mac, Janis Joplin, um, Jimi Hendrix, like those older, and I'm not talking about like Jimi Hendrix, like, um, let's see, what is that song by him? Anyways, I'm talking like Little Wing, like super mellow. I'm talking about like soft 70s rock, if that makes sense. Um, so I water my plants to that, and I always have. And I think that I do that because I watched my grandma do that, and I watched how much life it brought into her, and in turn brought life into her plants around her. Mostly, I mean, I would assume because of the effort and the fact that they're getting the nutrients that they need, but also I really think that music is like so penetrative. Is that a word? Penetrative? It penetrates into the soul. And I believe that all plants are, I mean, obviously they're living things, so they must have a soul attached to them. Yeah? That's my belief. You don't have to agree. That's totally fine. But yeah, so I watered them while listening to music, and I feel like it's really helped. And this is not the first time that I watered them since I wrote this down. Mind you, I started writing titles for this podcast in January, and this was going to be My Plants Are Dying. I Must Not Be Okay. um, and last episode was going to say Romanticizing My Life because I'm sad, but I don't feel like that anymore. So I've just like kind of evolved me titles. Why am I No, evolved my titles to how I'm evolving, you know? So, anyways, yeah. I do think that there's like the obvious suffering of yourself and the things around you when you are just not making an effort to get better, like laying on the couch for days and days and days, choosing not to give your body nutrients, choosing not to give, we're talking about plants, so giving your plants nutrients, just like only getting up to go pee and take your dog to the bathroom outside. Like, and even then, and that's what's so hard too, is I have a dog that you guys all know about, and, or at least I think you know about. His name is Oliver, and he is like my reason, or he still is my reason, but like he was the reason why I was able to get up. My god, I almost just got hit by a pine cone. He was my reason for getting up, right? My reason for moving forward, my reason for going outside, because he needed to be taken care of. But there were days where I would just lay, and he didn't leave my side not one time. And holy shit, dude, I see the biggest dog I've ever seen in my life. Like, that man is not short, and that dog is about half as tall as him. That dog must be as tall as me when it stands, like, not even on its back legs, just straighten up. Whoa. That's really crazy. I've seen big dogs, but oh, cute. He's rolling around. I'm so off topic right now. Oh my gosh. The sun on my back feels so good, you guys. So freaking good. Oh my god. This is your reminder, subtle reminder, drink some water. Another subtle reminder, get the fuck outside. I just ran out of water right now. That's really good for me. Anyways, so yeah, there's that obvious suffering that happens to the things, people, and yourself around you when you just decide not to try. And you decide to just not make the effort for yourself or for anything else. And so yeah, my plants were like super dying. They were all like droopy and sad, and it was contributing to my own sadness. I'm like looking around like I have no motivation to take care of you guys or myself, you know? And so they just sat there and they waited and they waited. and I could start to, I feel like I was hearing the screaming, like, please help me, I'm dying, please just help. Um, Finally I did. Finally I helped, and it was great. And now they're finally perky. I have this plant named Lucifer, and he is a pothos, and he gets this like, it reminds me of somebody with like really curly hair, like, or like a grandma, you know, with like the short hair that's curly on the top, like aqua nutted in place. He gets like his leaves will start to, he'll start to sprout babies up there, and it gets, it starts to remind me of that. And he has so many little babies up there, and it's so cute. I'm gonna have to, you know what? I'll post some pictures of my plants on Instagram, or I'll post a reel of me watering them. Let's do that. Check my Instagram though. There's going to be plant content for you once this goes up. I'm making a mental note to myself to do that. um, yes, my plants are doing much better, and honestly, the part that the vibe of your self and also your surroundings, the wind, you guys, the wind, the part that the vibe of yourself and your surroundings plays in how healthy a plant is has to be scientifically proven somewhere. I don't know anything about it. This is just me fully speculating, right? But there has to be some science to it. Because if there's not, then what the fuck? Because it's like very true. Like when you have a plant and you name it after yourself and you nurture that plant in the way that you should nurture yourself, it will thrive if you're taking care of yourself. If not, it won't. It really won't. And maybe that's me like manifesting my own beliefs into something, but it won't thrive. I've done it a couple of different times. So funny because the plant that's named after me got knocked off of the little table that it's on. It was a total accident, like not a big deal, but some of the little branches and stuff got broken off, and because of that, it's just like this one long little like, but anyways, that happened around the same time that I was like, felt like my world was falling apart and I was literally like falling to my death. Like that's what it felt like on the inside of myself. And that happened all at the same time. Isn't that so weird? The universe has a way of doing things that we will never understand. Sorry if the audio just got kind of crazy. The wind picked up. But that has to be like some sort of universal sign, right? Anyways, after that moment, I started taking care of my plants, and in turn, also was taking care of myself. So that was really cool. I've been crawling out of this place of darkness and like finding the sunlight again. Like I said, there's so many different lights at the end of each tunnel that I have gone down recently. And it's been really eye-opening to see just how good it feels to just let go and let be, you know? And I feel like finding that sunlight again has given me the motivation to give the sunlight to my plants. I'm opening the curtains every day. I'm giving them nutrients every day. We're doing good. Yeah, so my plants are alive, and so am I. My plants are alive, and so am I. It reminds me of that SpongeBob episode where he's on the top of the building. He's like, I'm ugly and I'm proud. You know what I mean? But we're saying, my plants are alive and so am I. If you're listening, say it with me right now. My plants are alive and so am I. Oh my God, that's going to be the description of this podcast. My plants are alive and so am I. Even though the title is My Plants Are Dying. So, a little contradictive. And if you happen to see that and you've listened to this far, rate the pod and tell me that and rate the pod and write the word contradiction. And then I'll know who the true ones are. That's a fun experiment. I wonder if that will actually happen. I hope it does. Before we wrap it up, I have a couple of announcements. I am going to be getting some new podcast artwork. It's being worked on as we speak, and I'm really excited about it. I'm excited for the artist too. I'm going to be tagging her in the photo. So that's being worked on as we speak right now. Let me know what you think. In your contradiction rating, you could also tell me what you think about the art. I'll put at the end of the podcast, at least on Spotify, there's a place for us to ask a question. And I'll go ahead and, instead of what do you think of the podcast, I'm going to go ahead and write in there, what do you think of the new podcast artwork? Yeah, but do me a favor and head over to Instagram and take a look, and one, follow me, two, follow the artist as well, and keep up on that journey, because hopefully it'll be a good one. Helping each other grow is the way to go. I'm coming up with all these slogans. My plans are alive, my plants are alive, and so am I. It's a way. What did I just say? Oh my god, I need to go. I need to get out of here. In other news, we have some more announcements here. The podcast uploads are going to go from every other week to every week, and I am going to be updating, at this time, when you hear this, the description of the pod will be updated to every week. There's a cute puppy trying to come say hi to me. The pod will be every week now, and usually you guys know, as you see, I have video of the pod as well, and I think I'm just going to do every other week there will be video of the podcast. So there's not going to be, like, the video is not changing, but there will be an extra episode every week. And I was thinking about, now this is maybe not going to happen right away, but I was thinking about having like a subscription Patreon situation, like a $2 subscription or something, for extra content. So the remaining videos that you're not getting for free on YouTube would be in that place. And also like extra content as well, like we want to do. If I wanted to like incorporate some Q&As, some extra vlogs, just like anything for you guys. So anyways, I think that I'm gonna start working on that in like the next month or two. I want to have a good amount of videos to put up on the Patreon before I make it public, and so there's like a good amount of content to kind of like binge through. But there will be videos from like episodes of the podcast that are already up, but some people only do podcasts on YouTube, which is fine, you know. So if you only do YouTube podcasts and you love the video version, then that will be totally up your alley. So again, that's probably not going to come for a couple of months, because I do want to have a good amount of content to like put out there already, so you have something to subscribe to and not be like, oh, like this is a complete waste of my time and money. And it won't be, a lot of people, I don't know how Patreon works, so it might not be through Patreon, but that's just my only knowledge that I have of subscription services right now. But a lot of people do $5 levels, and I think that I'll stick to like 2 because I'm very little. But it also might help to catapult us, you know what I mean? So look out for that. And then, oh, that's it. That's all we've got. So again, reminder, your plants are alive and so are you. And if they're not, then you're not thriving. And they're not thriving, and it's probably not feeling great, but you're not alone. So just remember that. I've been there and I will be there again. I'm positive of it. But feeling your emotions and getting through those things is part of this unique, amazing human experience, and you will find a moment when you are grateful that you can breathe. I know that I have, but I know that I'll have moments when I'm not grateful. So, yeah, you're not alone. for sure. But anyways, guys, that's it. Subscribe to the pod, rate the pod, and yeah, I love ya, and I'll see you. Oh, next week, because this is crazy. You'll hear me again next week. Mwah. See you later, alligator. Bye.